The Redfin CEO Glenn Kelman stated that vacation rental markets are toast because of the pandemic and people are offloading short-term rentals. What's up everybody, Steve here with Steve Invest. I'm in this space as a real estate investor as well as a real estate broker. So let's go ahead and take a little walk. Look, I'm going to review the conversation that Kelman had in the Market Watch article, and I'm also going to talk about some tips that might help you out if you currently own vacation rental properties or you're considering this kind of investment for your real estate portfolio. As mentioned, I'm in this space. The property I'm at right now is a property that I do live in part-time, and the other time we do have it up in Airbnb and successfully rent it out on a regular basis. It's actually located over in Bonita Springs, over on Bonita Beach. Great source of revenue, and the added benefits to vacation rental properties is incredible in my opinion, as opposed to annual rentals, and that's because you do have the ability to utilize them for yourself as well as your families, friends. If you have other outside businesses as well, you can utilize it for really good tax write-offs if you guys do put people up, you know, for certain meetings or whatever the case is, and take care of people in that sense. And there are a lot of added benefits associated with owning vacation rental properties. Kelman was asked, what's your take on the secondary as well as vacation rental markets? And his reply, straightforward, was toast. Those are going to be in tough shape. There's a whole economy that was built around liquidity there that the Airbnb provided. You could get pretty deep into debt and still have somebody pay your mortgage every month because Airbnb and other travel websites were so good at finding someone to rent it out. Investors who own Airbnb properties are looking for immediate liquidity. Now, I agree to a certain extent. There are going to be real estate investors that I know that are gonna liquidate these properties as quickly as possible. Especially here in Florida, Governor DeSantis put a stop to all short-term rentals to prevent any kind of people vacationing here in Florida. And yeah, a lot of people are scared right now. A lot of people got nervous. They got the fear in them. If they have mortgages, they're freaking out because they do not have that rental income coming in. So yeah, I believe that there is going to be a certain amount of people that do go ahead and put their properties on the market and liquidate them. You know, there are a lot of people that do have mortgages, they have expenses, they have overhead. So without that revenue coming in, it's completely hurting their investment, especially with everything that went down. Our height season here in Southwest Florida is January, February, March. And when this thing came in, it pretty much wiped out height of season for vacation rental properties, and it really hurt a lot of people because that's where we make bulk of our money. But what I can say is a lot of this stuff many times it's short term. It's short term with what's going on, and people that have prepared for short term situations and scenarios and unexpected scenarios are going to come through this, and they're going to come through it fine. So let's talk about some tips that might help you guys out, again, if you guys are looking to get into this space or you're already in this space. Number one is you do not want to over leverage. Look, I was talking to this one guy the other day, and he was adamant about buying this specific condo in this specific community for him and his family to rent out. This is for an annual rental. And I asked him how much money is he going to make after all expenses, including his mortgage, and he said about $50 a month. And I said, you know, the spread on that doesn't seem too big. And I asked him what is he going to do if the market shifts and rents come down. And his response was that he doesn't think rents are going to come down. My personal opinion on that specific property is I think rents are really high right now. And I asked him simply, you know, what if they do? What if next year the tenant that you had leaves and a new tenant comes in and they're paying $100 less per month than you're going to be paying an additional $50 a month instead of making $50 a month. My point is you want to make it a priority to never over leverage, and also really understand the income and expenses associated with any property that you do purchase. And if you do over leverage, that could put you in a bad position overall, unfortunately, where you could potentially be in a position where you're upside down from income and expenses. The second thing I suggest you do is create a reserve account. I highly recommend that you guys take percentage of your net profit, at least 20%, stack it away for a rainy day, especially for a situation like this in 2020 that we're going through, and have this reserve account not just for when there's slow months, because you guys will have slow months in vacation rental properties, but also if a situation like this happens, and also certain unforeseen situations come up, like you have to replace a water heater or you have to replace an air conditioning unit, or something happens, something breaks. You guys are going to want to have that reserve account to pay for that issue at hand. So just make sure that you guys have a reserve account coming off the top of your net operating income every single month. Another tip that I look at is finding the saturation of vacation rental properties in any given market. Prime example is I'm over in Southwest Florida, and we have some vacation rentals here, and especially in Bonita Springs, I don't think that there's a huge supply of vacation rentals, which in turn keeps our properties usually occupied a good majority of the year, even in off season. But prime example is we were out in Daytona Beach, and we were looking at some vacation rental properties out there, and I can tell you, I just felt like there were so many more options for vacation rentals, a much bigger supply of vacation rental properties that were available on the market, which in turn, you know, if people are looking for a place to stay and vacation at, and they have so many options to choose from, then, you know, even in height season over there, maybe your properties are not getting leased out unless it's just a superior product and decked out and really nice condition. So I would pay attention to that in terms of the supply and demand of vacation rental properties. Gosh, it's beautiful out today. The fourth tip I gotta say is to pivot and get creative. You know, we did not see this black swan coming, and I was not opposed to changing strategy immediately. So here are some tips to get a little creative and to pivot your strategy, because you just can't sit around and be a sitting duck. For one thing is reach out to family and friends. I know, you know, there's a restriction here in Florida about short-term rentals, but seek out family and friends and see if you can give them a crazy deep discount to stay in your properties. Another target market are, we call them staycations out here. So a lot of people that live in the mainland and so forth, we even do it as well. We'll go to Sanibel Island, which is only, you know, a 30-minute drive, or Marco Island, or certain parts of Naples. We call it a staycation, where it's, you know, we're staying in our local area, but we're, you know, experimenting with hotels and Airbnbs in areas that are kind of vacation areas within our general area. So there's a lot of people that are interested in staying in their local area and experiencing their local area, which is, you know, another target market that you guys could do and start marketing right away to drum up business, especially if people are you know, afraid to fly or afraid to travel, whatever the case is. So that's a really good strategy. Put it out on Facebook Marketplace, maybe list it with a local real estate broker, put it in MLS, and see what kind of action activity you can get. Whew. It's getting hot out. I'm sweating over here. And speaking of putting it in MLS with a local real estate agent, another good target market is providing short-term living for people who are in between houses. Look, many times when somebody's selling a property, it's not a simultaneous close for the property that they're buying. So it's always a fantastic option where if people you know, have a month without having a home, it's a perfect option for somebody to, you know, go stay in that property. They're fully furnished. They can put all their stuff into storage while their other property closes out. Sometimes people are going from renting to buying, and they don't want to renew their lease for rentals. So what they do is they terminate that agreement. They put their stuff into storage, and then they find a short-term property. And why not take full advantage of a short-term property that could be a little vacation for you guys for a month or 2 months or whatever the case is. So that's another great target market, and I highly recommend getting with a real estate agent that could put it into the multiple listing system and promote it as such. Another thing is people, especially here in South Florida, are building homes, and a lot of times they sold their home and they're without a home for 3, 5, 6 months, whatever the case is. So it's another good viable target market for you guys for short-term rentals. And finally, another way to get creative is actually converting that into a long-term annual rental. I was not opposed to that in any sense, especially if this situation lasted a lot longer. We would probably convert all of the short-term rentals into long-term annual tenants. And you know, if you're priced right and you have a good product, then you're not going to have really any shortage of annual tenants for your property. And look, you can always go from a long-term tenant after their 12-month lease expires and go back into short-term rentals if the market dictates it. So again, don't be afraid to change strategy. And the final tip that I want to point out there for short-term rentals is for your real estate portfolio is consider diversifying. So maybe don't have all short-term rentals in your real estate portfolio. Have some long-term product as well, or long-term rental product as well. Maybe a small apartment complex or single-family homes, whatever you're comfortable with. But switch it up, because those long-term tenants in most cases are paying every single month. So, you know, short-term rentals, you will have slow months, and a lot of times the money that comes in off of annual rental properties can offset that short-term slump as well. And I get it, some of you guys are saying, you know, I have long-term renters in there right now, and they can't even evict these tenants and so forth. And I get it, I understand there's a lot of frustration going on with that. But with anything else, with any bad market, with any bad situation, it will pass. So you guys just have to weather the storm, get through this, and you guys will rebound. And keep your eyes open, because this is the time probably to get better deals, because there is uncertainty, there is fear in the market, and there's a lot of people that probably will broom their properties, meaning liquidate them as quickly as possible and sell them at a discounted rate. So when there is fear in the market, a lot of times there's a great opportunity to buy. Whew. I'm sweating. Look guys, if you guys enjoy real estate investing, personal finance, and financial independence, that's what this channel is all about. So if you like that kind of content, I appreciate you guys subscribing, and I appreciate a big thumbs up if you guys did like this video, and I appreciate the support. Thanks a lot.